moment, right now, is we are on the date, the 255th anniversary. Not only that, we are on the exact time at 11 o'clock. The events you're about to see unfolded upon this ground where you stand today.
What's up, adventurers? It's Jason. We are here at the Alamance Battleground in North Carolina, the site of the historic Battle of Alamance, fought in 1771, and considered one of the first armed conflicts leading up to the American Revolution. This battle was part of the War of the Regulation, where local settlers known as regulators protested government corruption, unfair taxes, and abuses of power years before the independence was even declared. Let's explore this CTRL-ALT adventure. It looks like we're gonna be part of the regulators over here on the hill where they're all gathering, and the show starts in 15 minutes.
Separation. There's no separation. You're in it. You're in it. You're in it.
Let's join
You're in the program. Move closer. Move closer. Move closer. You're amongst these regulators.
They won't find
Ladies and gentlemen, hello everybody. Welcome to Alamance Battleground State Historic Site. It is great to have you here today. Today we are telling the story of the May 16th Battle of Alamance, fought in 1771. What is notable about our moment right now is we are on the date, the 255th anniversary. Not only that, we are on the exact time at 11 o'clock. The events you're about to see unfolded upon this ground where you stand today. To get you to understand these regulators, though, we're 2,000 of them, 1% of the entire North Carolina population, physically here to solve their issues in a final confrontation against the government. These regulators, who style themselves is a formal association, who have fought for years to solve corruption in their system, unaccountable representatives, officials who ignore the due process of law. They started in 1765, worked for years and years trying to solve their issues. They had their homes taken away from them, oxen, tools, food taken away from their families, fees so extortionate that it cripples families. They've tried everything they are supposed to do to solve this problem. They organized into a formal association. They launched lawsuits against the offending judges and lawyers and so on, except they're the exact people who make the solutions. That doesn't work. They launched a massive petition writing campaign, notably holding mass meetings like we are here today. They write their petitions, but they're ignored by their representatives over and over and over again, even electing their man, Herman husband, to the assembly to finally hear everything. Except he is still ignored and even imprisoned by the colonial government. It all comes to a head in September of 1770, where regulators assemble and finally have justice served by the end of clubs and sticks and weapons. Beating up the offending officials, Edmund Fanning disassembling his house. This is what brings up war, armies, rebellions. Governor Tryon passes a law called the Johnson Riot Act. It means he can disperse an unlawful assembly. Secondly, he will raise an army of 1,000 men and begin to march here by May 16th. Today, Tryon is only a few miles away. He's already marching this way, and our regulators are assembled here to have a meeting to decide what to do.
I will call this meeting of the regulators to order. We have stayed here for a number of days, some of us still coming from Jim Hunter's plantation only up the road. We are starting to collect. We are numbering about 2,000. You have all come from your meetings, your own associations, to regulate the current one that is in control. These snakes and scoundrels that sit in the county seat of Hillsborough. These men have come towards us. They have encamped themselves 5 miles from here. We've made it very clear that we wish to speak with these men. We've sent them a letter that last evening, and we've heard no report. We've sent a response letter last night, no report. We have sent 3 men to speak with the governor only moments before, and only one has returned. The other 2 imprisoned by his own rights, believing that we are but simple peasants, and we are, but we are servants, Englishmen, with rights. Rights that we'll make very clear to him, and we have made very clear. And we've now gone to a certain point that I'm not sure if we can ever turn back. But amongst you, you have all suffered among us, and many grievances have been heard. Mr. Herm? Mr. Howe.
Thank you. You know me. My name is Redknapp Howe. I was the first teacher ever in the back country of this colony. I have taught in many of your homes. I have taught your children to read and to write.
True.
But as I worked with you, I realized that the government that you were under is corrupt. And we hear that every single day. It is time that we decide to do something. The government of the colony of North Carolina is headed by William Tryon. He has the Colonial Council and he has an advisory board. The government here in Orange County is made up of men that control it from Hillsborough. We call them the courthouse rings. Let me give you an example of that courthouse ring in Hillsborough. In 1760, a man by the name of Edmund Fanning came down from New York. He was already an absentee office holder, which means he's getting paid to do nothing.
Useless.
When he arrived in Hillsborough, he was a lawyer and he was a merchant. By the end of the year, he became the town trustee. The next thing we knew, he was the crown prosecutor. And then he becomes the register of deeds. A most lucrative position when you do it the way that he does. We have documented evidence that he is charging 5 times the legal amount when you go in the courthouse to get work done. That is not right. I made a little song about dear Edmund, and it went like this. When Fanning first to Orange came, he looked but pale and wear-worn, an old petticoat upon his back, an old mare he rode on. Both man and mare were worth £5, as I've been often told. But with his civil robberies, he's laced his coat with gold. And what did he do? He ordered a hat trimmed in gold and a coat with gold thread running through it so we could wear it and show that we had no power over him.
It's ours.
That's the kind of man you have doing your government. When William Tryon became the governor of the colony of North Carolina, one of the first people to welcome him was Edmund Fanning. Fanning now serves on that advisory council to the governor. They are very dear friends. When he came back from that welcoming committee, he was the colonel of the Orange County Militia. How many jobs can one man have? I've lost count. But one man does not a courthouse ring make. Their second person that we need to look at is the sheriff of this very county. His name, he's been several people, well, I'm talking about Thomas Hart right now. Thomas Hart. He is a member of the Colonial Assembly, and he is the sheriff. The sheriff is supposed to arrest the bad guys, but the sheriff is also in charge of elections. You know how elections are held in this county? First of all, he decides when and where the election will be held. The election is always held in Hillsborough in the courthouse. You know how large this county is. It takes some of you 2 days just to ride to Hillsborough. When you arrive and you enter the courthouse, there's a table. with the sheriff sitting here, and who's beside of him? Edmund Fanning, the Register of Deeds. When you walk up to him, you have to give your name. The sheriff records your name. Then they have to check with Edmund Fanning to see if you are a white male and own 50 acres of land without a lien on it. Fanning has the last word. He can make up a lien if he wants to, and you're not allowed to vote even though you've written 2 days up there to do it. That's not right. And then when you do vote, you have to stand in front of these two men with all their henchmen surrounding them, and you have to say aloud who you're voting for. The sheriff then writes that name down. Now, you are intelligent people. You prove that every day. But the majority of you have never been taught to read and write. You've never had a formal education. So you don't know if he's writing down the correct name or not. That's what the elections are like in this county. Now, not only is he in charge of the elections, he is in charge of the collection of taxes. And what is he doing? He's riding out through the county to your house, knocking on the door and telling you how much money you owe. There's no record of what you owe. He's just telling you how much you owe.
I have no plow because of him.
Absolutely, but it can get worse. You could also have no horse or no cow. He is a member of the Colonial Assembly. The same Colonial Assembly that passed the law that you had to pay your taxes with British pounds. That's fine if you live in the East. We use barter in the back country. We have no English money. So they use the British law of distraint, which says if you have surplus property or surplus crops, you can use that to pay your taxes. But what they count as surplus is your horse or your cow.
How about their surplus?
Absolutely. What happens then if you take a man's horse? He has no way to plow his land, clear his land. He cannot feed his family. They will starve because of the tax and the way it's being raised. If you take the cow, he has no milk for his children. He will watch them starve to death. This is not right.
It starves us from the palace.
Cease now. Now there's a third man known as Francis Nash. Francis Nash is the clerk of court. He is the justice of the, who does he pick? The close friends of the inner circle. Ladies and gentlemen, when you walk into the Hillsborough Courthouse, you are already guilty. There's only one sentence that will ever be delivered against a regulator in this county, and that is guilty. It is time that we put a stop to this. There's a document that was signed in 1689 called the English Bill of Rights. We are faithful English citizens, and we demand our rights as British citizens. I'm going to tell you what some of those rights are, and I understand the governor will very shortly be in hearing range. If you agree with what we're saying for all of the huzzahs to ring so loud that he will hear it, even if he's in the middle of a group of horses. Number one, we believe that no man should ever hold more than one elected office at a time.
Huzzah!
Way to go. Number two, when you go into the Hillsborough Courthouse, we want a listing of how much each fee should be, and we will know how much to pay. Do you agree?
Huzzah!
Number three, we want an end to these exorbitant taxes and fees that are being used to make the officials over us wealthy. Do you agree?
Huzzah!
We want free, open elections where intimidation cannot be used to determine the outcome. Do you agree?
Huzzah!
We want elections that use a secret ballot so we no longer have to explain to the whole community how we're voting. Do you agree?
Huzzah!
We want to stop the embezzlement of our tax money because actually by 1768 it was so bad even William Tryon admitted 50% of all the tax money collected in the back country was being embezzled by the local officials. Do you agree with that?
Huzzah!
We want to have free trials by our peers, a jury of our peers. Do you agree with me?
Huzzah!
And finally, We want the rights that are guaranteed to us as loyal British citizens. Do you agree?
Huzzah!
Magna Carta!
Ladies and
God save the
we
king.
are free men and we intend to remain free men. And it's time for this government to end. Last night, we sent the final petition to the governor. We asked him very politely
He will hear
if
us.
he would be willing to meet with us, let us tell him our grievances, and see if we could work out an amicable agreement. So far, we have not heard a response from him.
He must hear us.
This is number 13. I can tell you what every other response has been. He has told us to stop causing trouble, stop using the name regulator, obey the local officials, and pay our taxes. That's not going to happen. We close that statement, however, by saying, the matters of the province of North Carolina and the rights of us as loyal British subjects of the King are not to be trifled with. We have had it. We will take no more. We don't know what his response is going to be here today.
Let him come!
And gentlemen, it is time to bring justice to dear Carolina. It's time we take a stand. What he is doing is a damnable offense against nature's God and the British law. And we will not stand for it. This ends here.
Well said. Is there any other issues to be brought before?
I have something to say.
Yes, sir.
We've seen what the governor and his ilk do when we go to Hillsborough and demand justice. He ignores us. We gather thousands together. He ignores us. I hear my elders, Mr. Howe,
Here he comes.
Mr. Husband. I hear what they have to say, and I think now's the time.
He will hear us.
We take it in our own hands. We put an end to it with arms.
Coward!
I've been instructed
Here's one
by
of
His
them now.
Excellency Governor Tryon
Instructed. Bring him
to read
yourself.
this letter. He couldn't come read himself. Great Alamance Camp, 16th of May, 1771. In answer to your petition,
Yes.
I am to acquaint you that I have ever been attentive to the true interest of this country and to that of every judicial residing within
He
it.
doesn't even know.
I lament the fatal necessity to which you have now reduced me by withdrawing yourselves from the mercy of the crown
Mercy.
and the laws of your country
You
to
have
require
served
you
this
who
country.
are
Silence
assembled
him.
regulators to lay down your arms, surrender up
We
to
have no
outlawed
arms.
ringleaders, and submit
We
yourselves
want no
to the
trouble.
laws of your country,
We
and
are
then rest on the
I have your
mercy
seed. I have your seed.
of the
We
government.
want you gone.
By accepting,
not my house.
by accepting these terms in 1 hour from the delivery of this dispatch, you will prevent an effusion of blood.
An
effusion
There'll be no blood.
You're
going to You are at this time in a state of war and rebellion against your king,
Those are
your country, and your laws.
This is not war.
Bring this to the king.
Bring this to Parliament. The king will have none of this. This is not war.
You have heard from His Excellency, Royal Governor William Tryon, by his sheriff, appointed by him, Thomas Donaldson. You have 1 hour, gentlemen.
Be gone. Gone. Gone, little man.
Go back home. You will decide amongst yourselves. It is up to your own meetings. Some of us are unarmed. It is up to your choice. But for me, I will stand myself, if alone.
And the clock has started ticking. They have held this meeting. The official riot act has been read in 1 hour. Starting back up there at 11:50, we'll start. At noon, this issue of corruption, of rights, of fundamental things against the normal people of North Carolina will come and clash with the governor at this moment. Now, a few things before we jump to our next program, everybody.
That is pretty crazy that it is 255 years to the hour that this battle took place. It's pretty interesting, pretty crazy.
This is a little awkward because this is what happened. You know, the regulators hurled insults. We'll see in a minute. You know, they'll walk in front of the cannons, have big conversations. We know regulators wrestled in this episode for some weird reason. You know, I think this is going to happen. Yeah, but this is civil, right? This is not military. This is not war, really. This is an awkward moment of civil, you know, disobedience. Yeah.
We have like a outside board with it's like a list of names of who died. Mostly the regulators. There are a few militia on here, but mostly regulators died here. Looks to be about 5 militias. 5 militia, everyone else regulator.
Did you ever hear something official
She's got to get it on the record. There's nothing live about what like I said, she probably I wasn't thinking this through.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 11:50. We are almost at that critical moment where the Johnston Riot Act comes into effect. After the waiting that hour, ordering that final demand of the Riot Act, that is the moment. When 1 hour that we are almost at 12, the force to disperse this is legalized. To resolve this issue of the regulators once and for all. But think about where our story might have started. It started with folks talking about fair government, justice, fair courts, representatives held accountable for fundamental things. And we have reached this moment. This moment where 2,000 men against 1,000 are standing off to decide what? We'll decide what happens next. And so this is our critical moment when those regulators will travel up here and hear their final voice to demand this change they have sought for years. They have suffered. They have been dealt blows. They've sent some blows back. But now is their moment to make it true.
Still have 10 minutes. You can't fire your family, firing on your own citizens. You can't fire the taxes that he stole from us did he pay you?
Cowards! That's what they are. Cowards! Rascals! Every one of you! You wouldn't burn an
Unarmed brother. Come in good faith. This is how you respond.
Ah, you're free men. Act like it.
We are just like you.
We are free men.
We are your brother.
Don't be servile. Don't be dogs and try on. And this little man, you sheriff. This man is a criminal. He's a criminal. You all know this man is stolen from every one of us to line his pockets. That's a brand new suit. Come here with us. He's wearing. That is a new suit that he pays for. Mine. Without you, he's nothing. Holmes. Without you, he's just a little man. Come join us. Step away from that. I heard your officers deserted you last night. 2 of them from Orange County.
Ready to cause.
Your leaders are even joining us. The cause is over here.
Defending English liberty.
Stand with us. What are they paying you? What are they paying you, countrymen?
Oh, you didn't know?
Are they paying you? In my money?
Surprised by that, aren't you?
My money too.
My money has gone to kill your countrymen? For what? We are the cause of the crown. We are loyal. What do you get, Judas? For standing against your family. He knows nothing of it. They just write lies. Are you not North Carolinians like us?
Shandy,
You don't even know what this is no North Carolinian beside you. What are you going to do with that? Are you firing upon us? Yeah, I don't remember. Yes, you do nothing with that. Put that down.
They have 5 minutes.
No, you're not.
Do you want me to ask again?
Judgment day will come. You'll be judged. Judgment day will come. Gentlemen, this Judas will be judged. Power is up. Then fire. Please join us. Fire. Fire. Do it. Do it. Fire again. What is your final answer? Fire me damned. Fire me damned. Governor, Your Excellency, I submit. No!
damn you right.
No! We have rights! We are North Carolinians! We have rights! Get your hands off of him! Get your hands off! Prepare to fire, King! Get your hands off of him! Get your hands off of him!
Stay here.
Advance the gun! Come back! Back!
Damn you right.
Come join us! Don't roll that thing down here!
The man has been given. They've waited the hour. They've done everything that Tryon is supposed to do legally to solve their issues. One, as they gathered here, taunts are screamed at them. Things like fire and be damned, daring them to do something. They mean that literally. Battle, battle, let it happen now. These words will echo across this field for generations.
Pick up your arms!
We know that the regulators, now you can hear me, that we know that the regulators were angry, screaming, fear, anger overall. They, even earlier in the day, sent some of their negotiators to be able to negotiate with the final petition for these regulators. They sent peace envoys day after day to Tryon with petitions signed from the inhabitants of Orange County. Think about what the response is. They said, hey, let's figure this out. Let's solve this peacefully. And they say instead to use the law against them. There is one notable man at this moment, if you check your times, we are almost actually at the actual time. There was a regulator negotiator who was taken earlier in the day named Robert Thompson, who was taken early in the day as a prisoner of war and held under Tryon. Under a flag of truth, he tried to negotiate. He tried to solve the issue peacefully. He is one of the many ordinary individuals who took this moment, thrust into a position of authority and responsibility to solve his issue. These regulator chiefs, they're leaders, they're negotiators, they are not the rich. They are not the powerful. They are the ordinary, working, laboring, industrious farmers of North Carolina. And this is the moment where some individuals make an action. He pleads his imprisonment.
His Excellency! Get that man! Stop him!
Oh my God.
How can you do this? Giving them every last chance. Still looking good. Put an end to this mob.
Tryon must maintain order in this colony. These rebels, they challenge the authority of not only his officers, but the very system that exists. He has his justification. He has his moment. And they load slowly with cannons, with canister shot, grape shot, things that fire in a great big shotgun effect. Regulators standing close as 40 yards away. And the decision of being on what to do. Tryon, from his perspective, he has done everything legally what he is supposed to do. We wonder what was going through his mind, along with his officers and colonels, on what and how he will keep order in the colony of North Carolina.
Mr. Caswell, you may fire. Mr. Caswell, that's a direct order. They're trying to flank us. They are not negotiating in good faith. Fire! Ready!
All right.
After the first volley is fired against the regulators, they rush back to their positions. Their officers, their captains, they maintain the order. They rally some men together, they run back to their lines and form up and try to put up a resistance. Those who even brought guns, which was only around maybe 400 of those actually present.
We're heading down to the regulator side.
Believe it or not, my hands she's gonna be fine.
Over here. This is a weird battle, isn't it? We started with a meeting of reasonable people talking this issue out. The arrival of an army with the justification to quell the mob. Legal documents are read. The regulators are with the gloves and bars cleared and jeered at their opponents for over an hour. Actually happened. Important to note that these men on these sides, they did know each other. The Butlers, William Butler, John Butler, opposite sides of this conflict. Several other people barely split half over an issue that seems as what these guys felt. You might have been riled up by our regulators' speeches. Now you are not only here behind the line, but you are rather standing in the same place where they looked up at 8 cannons all assailed towards them, with their column being wounded, with a fire igniting the field. They fought back as much as they could. And these regulators keep up their solid resistance, holding so firm over their ground that they hid behind large trees, large rocks that were strewn across the field. Where they kept them covered as much as they could, but many of the men did not come here to fight. They came here to talk. They came here to protest. They came here for a peaceful resolution to their fundamental issues. After this cannon bombardment, assailed the regulators for actually over half an hour at the true time, bombarding them. Slew of wounded lied across the field you stand. But the regulators held a strong position. Tryon formed the remainder of his men together. They marched together in a line and began advancing upon the regulators' position. Little remains from the regulator's perspective from the battle itself. We know of stories that are passed down, even oral history that are kept locally. Few names pop out. People like James Spew, a regulator leader, a person with a strong sense he was at the Hillsborough riot. He was at all these great moments you just he fought here. 25 years old and had two twins born only 2 months ago. And he chose to travel here, not knowing what would happen, not knowing how things would be solved with fire and blood or peaceful resolution. He took that chance.
They're going to advance.
Other notable leaders, Red Knot Powell, you heard earlier today. He was a school teacher. He proudly educated the local people. Many people knew him personally, but he chose to be part of it. Herman Husband, one of their major leaders, though he is not present here, believes so strongly that every man should deserve equal treatment under the law.
Here they come.
I see your sheriff is not in the front line, is he?
Hey!
What's also notable about the regulators is they not only had some names of these leaders. We have James Spew, we have Red Knot Powell, we have Herman Husband, we have James Hunter, names I bet none of you have ever heard before. But these people are only the ones we know. There is literally thousands and thousands of other regulators who stood for a reason, and at least many died, that we do not know their names. From them today, who would never, ever be able to know who, if they were even at all.
Run, quick, up!
Keep them up.
Harmon,
Dare you!
come on.
Stay in here.
Traitor!
God bless you, son.
To maybe recover some of the wounded, but those who hurt can't. Or maybe some stood firm to make sure others got away. As the Tryon's men go our story continues on. We know here they stop for a moment and they pursue them for another hour. Well beyond through their camp, through those who remain, dragging back those prisoners. And I'll ask it again, it seemed like a normal battle, did it? A civil disagreement, a massive movement for reform that would violently disrupt here. But what are the results of today's event? 255 years ago, here, over at the end of the day, by 2 o'clock, scattered across the field here, was over 300 regulator casualties. Over 100 men killed here, all because they wanted simple reform to their government. That's all they truly wanted. They were gathered up at the end of the battle, 20 to 40 prisoners taken overall. They were dragged through, back, coalesced around, Tryon even treat some of his wounded. He suffered minor casualties overall in this battle. Notably, one such regulator leader we talked about earlier, that James Spew, that 25-year-old man that took the time to go away from his newborn twins. He captive here. He, there, is dragged out along with Tryon's men. But what is the result of this big story? What happened? Unfortunately, our story doesn't end well. We don't have a happy ending. It doesn't end the way we want it to either. James Few's taken back to Tryon's camp, to his large encampment near the Alamance Reenactment. And a day later, the men of the militia hear that a sharpshooter inflicted casualties on the artillery so bad they demanded something to be done. Tryon outlawed this man. He is outside the protection of the law. And so, in front of his army assembled, they take this young man and they hang him as a point of fear. They cause all others that might challenge authority to be afraid to have their voices heard, to demand change.
I don't know what to tell you, but we'll never be closer. It'll never be closer.
Here are our regulator prisoners. Many of their comrades left dead on the field.
How are your friends on the gun crew doing? Huh? How are your friends on the gun crew?
And their communities in shackles as a show of power and force of the British government. So, here's the big one. So what about this story? It's a big one, isn't it? Maybe one you haven't heard before. What's unique about us here is ever since May 16, 1771, this ground you stand on has been hallowed. It has never been forgotten. We have always known this happened right here. Tryon will proceed to travel through their communities, burn regulators' homes to the ground, force oaths of allegiance from their population, bringing their movement to an end. The twist of our story, though, is what happens next. By the time of the American Revolution, the regulators, those who fought for liberty, for fundamental things, they fight as loyalists for the king. Oh, didn't expect that one.
Yeah.
While Tryon's men, the colonels, the leaders, the captains, they would be the revolutionaries of North Carolina.
Wow.
At least several North Carolina governors gave the orders to fire on these farmers. All of North Carolina's Continental Army generals first fought here against the regulators. Our story doesn't end the way we want it to, does it? And I would say we think that because the regulators fought and died here at Alamance for fundamental things. They wanted fair government. They wanted government to be represented by all the people, not just a select group who possessed all the wealth and power within the colony. And I think their message, this regulator story, can best be summed up. What I actually hear from folks who visit us is that this story I hear from folks all around the country, all around the world even, of young and old, of every political stripe. They say that this story sounds familiar. That's kind of chilling in a way, isn't it?
Yep.
That's not a good thing. This story should be an old story, a story that we have to be reminded of, or maybe we are being reminded of it here. And that I would instead take that challenge. Instead, that down, I would take it as a challenge. Instead, to make this an old story. Make these ideas of corruption, of government inaccountability, make them an old story we have to be reminded of. And I hope that you have enjoyed, that you have been in the shoes of our regulators, learn this experience, and you leave from here taking upon that challenge that the regulators here at Alamance have set before you. Thank you.
Now, I don't know if you heard that, but he actually said that the regulators, essentially the rebels of this reenactment, they ended up being loyalists of the crown during the Revolutionary War. And the forces that were against the regulators, essentially working with the crown, they ended up being on the forces against the crown, essentially the rebels. I would not have expected that.
A better idea of how many we might need.
So I talked with our boss.
And another thing that I really liked about this reenactment is that you are able to essentially walk the entire length of the battle. So the few reenactments that I have been to is you're stuck in one area. This one is they kind of direct you in like a story. I just think that's very interesting. I've never experienced something like that. So if you enjoyed it, make sure you look them up for next year for 256 and check out the Battle of Alamance. But that's gonna do it for this adventure. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. If you made it all the way to the end and you want to support the channel, make sure you subscribe. It's free.